Yeah, Claudia, I think the Eskom testimony throughout the state capture inquiry has been some of the testimony of other work streams. You've been able to kind of sift out the truth from lies. I think in the Eskom testimony, we're hearing many different versions from many different people, and it's very hard to tell if anybody is telling the full truth when it comes to what happened at Eskom. I think what we've seen with Mashela Koko is really a repurposing of events and facts and truths to fit the story that he wants to tell. And I don't think that we're going to get him to give us any more information than what he absolutely wants us to know. But there's certainly a lot of holes in the story that he tells. And I think we're going to hear as we go forward, hearing from more executives who came in during that 2015 period, a reliance on the idea that competence made up for any lacks of oversight, any things that were happening that should not have been happening, that were fraudulent, or dealings and having third parties come into Eskom in the name of saving the organization, even though many of the things are just inappropriate and irregular.
Yeah. Let's move then forward, Tessa, and talk about Anuj Singh. This is someone who was the former chief financial officer. We have heard testimonies at that commission about the prepayments to the Guptas in order for them to acquire the mine that they sought at the time. I imagine this is the testimony that is going to be coming out of the Anuj Singh testimony. Your thoughts about what he is going to accede to, if any, because many of these characters, they tend to not incriminate themselves, if you like. And also, this is someone who has been sanctioned by the Institute of Chartered Accountants.
Yeah, I think what we should be expecting to hear from both Anuj Singh and later from Brian Molefe is an account, or their account, of how they came into Eskom. There are a lot of debates and questions about the role of the minister and the role of external parties in getting the two of them in. But also, in the same vein as we had with Michelle Koko, the thing we know about both Brian Molefe and Anuj Singh is that they do have reputations for being very good managers and people who get things done. And the question will be, were they put in place to keep the ship going and keep everything looking good on the top, while looting and pillaging of Eskom was happening at the bottom under their watch? And it's going to be about getting to the bottom of it in a very literal sense, getting to those deals that were done, getting to the kind of concessions that were made for Tegeta and for the Gupta companies, and what those deals entailed during that period. We must not get distracted by, well, this is all the good we did, because all the good that you did, you could still be an accessory to a lot of criminal activities and fraudulent activities that happened in that time. And we have to be able to see both of those things at the same time.
Yeah, final question to you, Tessa. Next week, I think it promises to be one of those scintillating weeks where the former president is expected to appear before the commission. It's set down from Monday all the way up until Friday. We know the former president's attitude towards that commission. He was actually sent a reminder yesterday by the commission secretary to say, remember, even though the Constitutional Court has not handed down judgment on us trying to force you to appear here, the summonses, they are still very much valid. What are we going to see?
I think what we're going to see next week is more damp squibs. We always have this hype and this build up, and all it results in is political theater. And what I'm hopeful for in this round of it is that whatever the teeth are that the commission really has to hold people to account, that we'll actually see what that is and how it is enforced. To this point, we just are seeing a commission that does not seem to know how to enact some of the laws that are in the act that governs it, and some of the powers that it's been given. And so unless we see that, next week is going to be much of what we've seen before. The former president's lawyers coming in, making a case for why they do not want to be there, should not be there, or worse yet, not showing up at all in complete defiance of the commission. But either way, I don't expect much testimony next week, as even if we did get the president to sit down, I suspect he would go the Dudu Myeni route and decide that he won't answer questions because he does not want to incriminate himself.
Tessa Dooms, thank you very much for your insights there, political analyst, joining us here to give us a throw forward as to what we can expect from the State Capture Commission of Inquiry today and indeed next week.